Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for another Precious Metal Ramble. Now today I have an update for you all on the Royally Screwed series that I've been doing, where I've been calling out the Royal Mint on some of their really poor value for money products within their historic coin range, like this one here, the flagship coins of the world. Really bad product. Thank goodness it's no longer available. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Or this absolute dog of a coin, the Victoria Younghead Crown, £270 for what they call a fine or better coin. It's not, but we'll agree to disagree. Anyway, I are stoked. Let's go update. We had a phone call last week on Wednesday with 4 people from the Royal Mint in various different departments. It wasn't the exec level, it wasn't with Anne Jessup, it wasn't with those massively powerful people at the top, but it was with people of consequence, which is good. I'm going to give you a bit of an overview of that whole experience and some of the top level notes that I got from that phone call. I will be doing a further video in due course, which will come out maybe in a week or two's time, showing and summarising all of my investigation into these historic coins, what I've seen, what I've observed, some actual evidence of things that are not so great, and then of course the Royal Mint's replies and responses to some of these observations that we've been making, and we'll hopefully getting those publishable statements from the Royal Mint next week. So in due course that will come out. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to find out how this all ends. But top level notes from the call last week. Let's dive into it. So the fact that we had a phone call in the first place was a really great thing. I'm very happy that we managed to get that done. It's, I think, a step in the right direction. The Royal Mint take it seriously. Would have been nice for somebody from the Royal Mint to reach out to me to initiate this. Eventually I got so fed up with the whole concept of these historic coins and the poor value that I just decided I'm going to get in touch with the press office and I'm going to have a look and see what we could do. So we got that call arranged. It was fine. Now that is part of the feedback. There was some good, there was some bad, and the bad I'm going to start with first. I did get a few sort of everything's fine, we've got thousands of really happy customers moments within that call. I pushed back on them by sharing some of the not so great feedback that is out there within the world of YouTube comments and forum posts, and they did acknowledge that those were there, and they said they couldn't ignore the fact that there are some there. My principle here is I take umbrance with the fact that they say they've got thousands and thousands of happy customers and that they don't view them being a bad value product, because there are thousands of really happy customers out there. But my point here is that those customers don't know better. So a lot of these coins, like perhaps this coin set here, which as I say is no longer available, 6 coins in a box with a little booklet. These are bullion coins. You can get these really cheap elsewhere. You can buy a box really cheap elsewhere. And you can build this whole set for like 180 quid with a box. So to have a £300 uplift on it didn't sit right with me. And realistically, the only people who would ever buy this set are people who don't know better or take the word as gospel from the Royal Mint. And so they won't complain. That was the whole premise. They won't complain. They won't moan about it. And so again, I watched an incredible video from Bullion Now where they gave an overview of the milk spotting issue, for example, at the Royal Mint, which is a video and a topic for a whole other time. But the Royal Mint's everything's fine, we don't have the data to represent that there are problems, is a really bad way to look at things. Now, the good that came out of this is that I do think that the Royal Mint, certainly the people I spoke to anyway, took it pretty seriously. They took some of the feedback pretty seriously too. And I asked them about this set. I said, this is no longer available. And it's become no longer available within the last 2.5-3 weeks. And they admitted that they got it wrong. So I'm hoping that when we get their sort of statements from them next week, that within that we sort of talked about what statements we would want to have to publish. And I want them to comment on why this product is no longer available, and the same with the gold version. And we'll see what they come out with exactly. But they admitted, they said they got it wrong. It was not a good product. It landed very badly and it did not sell well. So now it's come to an end of its life cycle, no longer available. We'll see how that comes out. But that was a refreshing point of view. The other bit that wasn't necessarily quite so great was the fact that this is still being defended as a fair or better coin. They conceded that it was a really bad example and it probably should never have been used as a product listing, which is, I think, categorically obvious, but that's what they said. I disagree entirely that this is fair or better, but it's subjective. I'm going to admit that. I'm not a coin grading expert, but I can't see how this would be a fine or better coin. And the fact that it's priced at £270, and when I publish my future findings, we'll know that this is not worth £270. Yeah. It's a shame that they were sort of defending it a little bit. They were also conceding a few things on it, but they were defending it. And I then I could have pushed more. So part of my feedback from this call, I'm not a journalist. I'm not a professional journalist. I'm just a guy who likes shiny things and talks about them on YouTube. I could have maybe pushed back further on the Mint about this and why it's so bad. I didn't, because I kind of wanted to be, I didn't want to come across too combative. I'm also aware sometimes that I can come across a touch arrogant in that sense. Like, I know better than you, so I'm not even going to bother listening to what you've got to say about it. I try to be as humble as I possibly can, but I'm the kind of person that when I feel I know something within the heart of my soul, I defend it to the nth degree. And I didn't want to come across too combative and too aggressive in that sense. So I took what they had to say. I conceded a few points about being subjective on grading and valuing and things like that. But I could have been a bit more journalistic-y, pushed back on them a bit more, I suppose. That's life lessons for me. That's about my own personal growth more than anything else. But I think it's interesting to share that, at least with you all. So from that perspective, there were some things that were a touch annoying, because I got the sense that whilst this was a good call, I'm not entirely convinced that there will be any major fundamental changes. So we've seen a few changes. The set's no longer available. What we did say in that call was that this was something that needed looking at. This is an absolutely atrocious photo of a coin that's in here, and they agreed with that. They said has been not reviewed for years, and it should be. This is a video I'm recording on a Saturday. The call was on a Wednesday. Nothing's happened to this listing since then. Actions speak louder than words. So we'll have to see how we get on with this over the course of the next couple of weeks and months. This listing in particular, and then others in the historic coin ranges. Now, I want to make it abundantly clear that I don't have a problem with the Royal Mint bringing out products where they tell a story. And that was one of the things that I got out of this call, that a lot of these products are helping to tell stories. The problem comes with the price points, and I feel that those price points are absurdly high, which is a real shame, because when you get new releases out like the Benedetto Pastrucci new sovereign design on these beautiful proof coins, and then you have this kind of set that comes alongside it, it just feels like it's piggybacking on a new exciting design that people will want to get, and I'm not entirely convinced this is a really good value set. In fact, I was asked point blank whether I felt that any of the historic coin sets or collector services coin sets were good value, and I just couldn't answer yes, because I don't feel there are any that are good value. I've seen some where I would not make a video moaning about them, because whilst I don't think they're good value, I also don't think they're kind of extortionate, like, for example, the flagship of the world's coin set here, or this Young Head Victoria crown. So I don't mind the Royal Mint making money. I don't mind the Royal Mint if they take a beautiful pair of old coins, present it nicely, tell a story, help to tell stories about other things, but just price it more fairly. This is just profiteering in its purest form, in my opinion. And we'll sort of see what the Royal Mint's sort of feedback is on that. But their argument is they're offering more than just the coin. They're offering the authentication, the story, the presentation. We can agree to disagree on those kind of things. What it ultimately comes down to, as I say, actions speak louder than words, and one thing that speaks even louder than those words is money. And unfortunately, we look at this, which is the Royal Mint's annual report. These are really easy to find. They're public, they're publishable. Well, they're all on the Royal Mint's website. You might struggle to find them sort of organically on the Royal Mint's website, but if you just do a Google search for Royal Mint annual report, you can see these, and they go into loads of detail on all the different elements of the Royal Mint, what they're doing, and the group financial summaries and so on here as well. We can see that, if we go back to that first table here, that we have consumer and precious metals. So first of all, currency, that's just the money that they make for circulation for the UK and various different countries around the world. They lost £13 million on that last year, which isn't great, but that's part of what they have to do. Then we've got consumer and precious metals. Now, consumer is where the historic coins sit. They are mixed in with the numbers here for proof coins. So we don't know an exact split of how much historic coins are selling and what profit margins and so on they're making. But what we can see is that consumer is turning over £150 million, give or take, and they are making £29 million, nearly £30 million profit on those sales there. So a pretty healthy margin. The precious metals is turning over 1.65 billion and making only £32 million profit. So you can see there's like a 11-fold increase in the required turnover to make the same profit. So it's very obvious that these consumer products that are in this bracket here are the money makers for the Raw Mint, those proof coins and these historic coins. If we come down to this page here, the collector services, we can see that the year-on-year growth of 10%, contributing 3.6 million in 2022-23 to operating profit. That's as much information as I can glean about what their product profit margins are. That's quite a lot of turnover. There's a lot of people buying these products, and that's part of the problem, I think, that the Raw Mint feel there isn't a problem. So they're saying, well, there's loads of happy customers. We're turning over £3.6 million. I think my concern is that a lot of the £3.6 million that's spent in this is abroad. It's going to people who don't know better, who perhaps just are investing in the brand of the Raw Mint, taking their word as gospel. North America being one of the largest, making 989,000 gross profit. So, we're knowing that they're making a lot of money. If just America is making nearly £1 million profit from £3.6 million profit, that's quite a lot. But anyway, we'll just have to see how we go with this whole thing. Actions speak louder than words, as I said, and unfortunately I feel like money will speak louder than that. And if these products continue to make money for the Raw Mint, then they're going to continue to put out products which are like this. And we'll see how we go. I mean, I had some good feelings from the meeting, but I'm not entirely convinced that I'm going to change the world or change the Mint on this. But what we can do is we can share our feedback with the Raw Mint, and we can say this isn't okay, and we can at least give them some form of metric data to say that this is not okay, so that they can see that it's not okay. They told me that they take these kind of things really seriously, and they want to have the best experience for their customers and all parties involved. I will reserve judgment on whether I fully believe that or just go back to the money side of things in due course. What I will continue to strive to do is raise awareness and education of products that I don't agree with on a fundamental basis. If we get more products like this coming out, or if this never changes, we're going to follow it up. I'm not going away. I think I'm doing this, as I say, I didn't want to come across too aggressive in the phone call. I'm not trying to do this to be a pain in the arse. I'm trying to do this to really raise awareness of everything and to help the Raw Mint's branding stay strong. I have a vested interest in it being strong. And at the moment, I feel like these are doing damage to the Raw Mint's brand. The Raw Mint continues to do good work. We see this latest release here from the Britannia range. I'm not buying it. I'm not a massive fan of the design. I've seen worse. I've also seen a lot better. But, new coins is what we want to see. We want to see these new things come out. We want to see beautiful products. We don't want to see tagged along tat found in a basement and then marked up massive prices. That's not how they source their coins. We did talk a little bit about that in the video, and that was something that was quite interesting, which I'll talk about in the future video I make. But the point here is that there are good things from the Raw Mint. It's not all bad, and I have been a harsh critic but also ardent supporter of the Raw Mint, and I will continue to do so because I feel very strongly about it as my national mint. And hopefully we'll see some change, or at least some concessions being made at some point. But as I say, actions speak louder than words. And your words are important, even though those actions might be more important from their side. Your words are most important. So let me know your thoughts down in that comment section, or over on the forum, or on Facebook, or tag the Raw Mint in what you want to say, or get in touch with the Raw Mint's customer service team to share your thoughts. If you go to the contact section here of the Raw Mint's page, you can send them an email through there, or you can, where was it? It's not necessarily making a complaint, but you can get in touch with the Raw Mint here if you need to. There is an email address directly there, customer services at Raw Mint. Show your passion for what they do and show your disdain for things that you don't like. Give them that feedback. It's really, really important. Okay, that's it from me. A huge thank you to all my ramblers for listening to the back end of my video. It's been a long one, I know, and I hope you've all enjoyed it. More to come definitely. So subscribe if you're not already, and a huge shout out to the Cool Kids Club members. You guys rock and are, of course, super extra special cool. We'll see you on the next one. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.